Hi, this is Mark from Skywagon University. Today we're going to look at a Tomahawk 112.
112.
Yeah, and this is Jim Parrish. He's the owner of this plane. He's very kindly brought it over so we can have a look around it and fly it. And you know, it's another one of those trainers that everybody had from the beginning, way back in, this is in 1978, right?
78,
Yeah.
First year.
Okay, so let's have a little bit of a look around it, and then maybe you take me for a spin, or not.
Sounds good, we can do it.
Okay. Okay. So Jim, Tomahawk, 1978. Let's just have a little bit of a look around it.
Okay.
So
The 1978 Tomahawk, it's one of the first years they made the Tomahawk, and it was designed by flight instructors and engineers to be an excellent trainer and directly compete with the Cessna 152.
Oh, okay. And two doors, which is probably the instructor's input.
Yeah. And the gas handle being right in the middle so that you don't
right on the
overlook
dash.
it.
And look at this wing, dead straight. No taper to it, just a straight cord for easy maintenance and easy building.
Yeah, it's easy to maintain.
What does it cost, like, say, in a year to run a Tomahawk?
Well, the annuals, I've been paying $1,200 a year for the annual, but you could get by cheaper, but I'm not that type of pilot. You know, I have a guy that works for, well, actually he owns Full Throttle Aviation, and when I take it in there for an annual, I said, you know, if it needs something,
do whatever
do
it needs.
And then I will hurt after when you give me the bill.
So everyone's always going to say, Tomahawk.
Tomahawk, yeah.
And that's like that.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that
Scarehawk,
that people say. They say it because someone else said it, and then they say it because someone else said it, but nobody actually knows why.
Yeah, because it's got quite a reputation. And basically that came from spin training. Some people were spinning it that really didn't know what they were doing, but it was kind of designed that way.
And wasn't it spinning was part of the curriculum then, right?
Exactly. Well, for flight instructors,
right.
Yeah, when it came out, flight instructors had to spin it if you were going for a flight instructor rating. But the problem with the spins, with this, it was designed not to come out of a spin by itself.
Like a 152.
Like a 152. You definitely have to put proper inputs in a Tomahawk to get it out of a spin.
Okay.
And a lot of times people got scared before they got out of a spin.
So in a 152,
yeah,
you just panic and it comes out.
You can let go. You can let go.
This,
and it'll eventually go into a spiral. And then
what would you say, if there's any, what's the sort of get it out of a spin T-tail Tomahawk recovery as an
Tomahawk, yeah, ailerons neutral. Of course, power off if you got power on, but you shouldn't have if you're doing spins. It should be off before you go into the spin. But
right.
Power off, ailerons neutral. Yoke all the way forward, and then the full rudder to recover.
Opposite rudder and
yes,
then pull it out.
Full rudder.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
And then
pull it out.
It's the corporate T-tail image. But so, what? The other thing people are all going to ask is, how authoritative is the elevator being up there? And in a Lance or a big T-tail, they do lose a little bit of authority, but not in this.
No. In fact, it's just the opposite. You'll notice in some magazines they'll tell you that I would start to say Tomahawk. The Tomahawk will actually over-rotate if they jerk it all the way back, you know. And
while taking off?
Yeah, if you have enough speed for it to be effective.
So at what speed is it like? Is it at 10, 12 knots when it starts to move? You've got an elevator already.
you can move a little. I would say, 15, 20. You've got really good elevator control with that.
Because a turbo Lance is 80. It feels really sloppy until 80.
They're much heavier and balanced a little different.
So the dragging.
But what will happen? Yeah, these.
That's where it touches, huh?
Yeah, this you can drag it, but mostly it's when tail dragger pilots get inside this, or someone's been teaching in 152s. They'll land and they'll just yell, "It's all the way back," you know, and they'll pull it all the way back, and it will drag the tail if you don't let it decelerate a little.
Okay. And what's the sort of takeoff landing speed? What's the envelope you try and teach people in?
I have them rotate at 65, and I think the book says 60, but I go 65, and my approaches are done at 70 till I'm on final, and then at 65 on final.
And then touchdown somewhere.
Touchdown. And I'd like to, the old soft field landing where you leave a little power. You can do it either way, but I like to leave just a little bit of power in, and you get a lot less wear on your tires.
Yeah, and it's not a strutted gas oleo like a Piper,
no, it's
like
spring.
a Cherokee.
It's
so these
spring.
leaf spring like a Cessna too. So that's very low maintenance there too.
Yeah.
Jim, there's an AD on the tail, isn't there? There's something you as an owner.
There were a lot of ADs out on the tail shortly after they came out, and most of the Tomahawks that are out now have had all those ADs gone through.
Are they one time?
The ones that I've had done on this, there's some recurring, but it's just inspections,
okay.
And then they let go. I think there is one at 5,000 hours, but I'm not sure what that is, but you have to inspect at 5,000 hours. Something in the tail.
So it's not really any more problematic than a normal tail Cherokee, because the
no.
normal tail Cherokee's got, they're all flying horizontal anyway, and you've got all the inspections you've got to do on its cable tension.
And a lot of the Cherokees, I had a Cherokee 180, and they came out with some AD about taking the wings off. You had to take the wings off.
It's not, you got to inspect the wing attached bolts.
Yeah, at 5,000 hours or something, and then they rescinded it because they didn't really need to do that. So, but all the ADs every year, like I said, I tell Ash Vidal that owns Full Throttle Aviation, anybody could talk to him about this particular Tomahawk because he's taken care of it for 12 years at least. But all the ADs are up to date. That's not to say that next annual I have
a new one comes out.
Yeah, you can't predict that.
So living with one, what do you use as a fuel burn, a cross-country cruise speed? I mean, what's the kind of the flying characteristics?
You know, I used to burn 6.5 gallons an hour, but with my new exhaust gas temperature gauge, I can get a better lean, a more proper lean, and I'm getting 6 gallons an hour.
Do you lean it to like 1350?
I lean it back until, and just like you do with the throttle on one that doesn't have an EGT.
Till it coughs.
Until, and then move it forward, 100 RPM above that. And then I set my red line to that, so I don't even go by anything other than my red line now.
So 6 gallons an hour and about 100 knots?
If I'm cruising cross country, I'll put it on 105 knots, push it up there. But normally I fly around at, because I want to save gas like everybody else. So I usually fly around about
750 a gallon.
95 to 98 knots when I'm just.
And how far have you been in there?
And this one here, I've gone down to LA, and let's see. That's about as far as I've gone in this. I make a lot of trips to the coast over to Monterey. I've made multiple coasts to Monterey and Watsonville.
So that's like an hour and a half and 6 hours in a car.
Yeah. But my wife loves to go over there, so.
Yeah.
And it's an instrument capable plane for stuff like that, just going under the overcast and back up.
And this one is actually IFR certified?
For that, yes it is. Yeah, I just had the static system had it done during this annual for the IFR static certification. But
let's walk around and have a look at some of the features. So manual flaps. How many stages?
It's 2.
2 stages, takeoff and landing.
Yeah.
Okay. That wing is just like a plank. Go on, have a look at it from the end here and just look right down it. And gas? She holds
30
16
gallons usable.
Okay, so 16 aside, 1 unusable.
Right.
Okay.
On each side.
And it goes to here?
Yes.
Okay, is that a bladder or is that a metal tank?
It's a metal tank.
Okay, so they don't leak or have any...
I've never had any leaks with this. Cherokees you do because it's part of the flying wing, so they're stressed in it. They start to leak. This one's never leaked, and it's not really... the tank's not removable that way.
That's the same capacity as a 152 as well, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah. And then the 0235 engine that's in here is a 2,500 hour TBO. No, 2,400 TBO.
Yeah.
Which, normally the little Lycomings are 2,000, so you get 400 more hours, which if you've got a flight school, that's another month.
Yeah.
3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
There it is.
I fly about 100 hours a year, so look how long I could fly it at that before I need to overhaul it.
You'd have to do 12 more years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if you're used to a 150, it's the same up front. Yeah. The same G25 12-volt battery.
Correct. Yeah.
Fiberglass, lower cal, front, metal top, everything else metal.
Yes.
Very, very good visibility. I mean, it's a bubble.
Yeah, and I put tinted glass in it all the way around because the sun can be brutal landing into the sun.
Look at that visibility in it.
That was one of the flight instructors' comments about when they helped design it. They wanted something with great visibility.
And
they
what's
don't want
its
any mid-air collisions?
What's
of
its
course.
useful load? So us two.
On this one, it's 503.
Okay.
That's its useful.
And how much is the gas? 32 times 6.
32 times 6. Well, you.
Got you on the spot.
Yeah, I would just go by the 30. So that's
30.
180.
So 400 pounds of humans.
400. Well, it depends how much gas you wanted to put in. You want to fly it at gross, yeah.
If it was full.
Yeah.
So today at Placerville, what's today? 90 degrees.
Today it was, I think when we took off, they said like 5,000 density altitude. And both of us together, we were 60 pounds under gross.
Okay.
And
so let's
we
see,
had
when we fly it...
we had 20 gallons of gas in it, and
Okay.
it computed out to 60 pounds under gross weight.
So this
And he said he was 185.
Yeah, he's probably a bit, yeah. Don, if you're watching this, we know.
Yeah.
Other Don.
Yeah, I'm 190, so I was thinking maybe
So
he's
you and
more
me
than
together, we're like 370.
Yeah.
Because I'm about the same.
Yeah.
So when we fly it, we'll look at how that is.
Yeah.
Because people who are watching this are going to wonder how it perform out of Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Or somewhere like that. Because
You wouldn't want to put two big people and fill it all the way up. If I was going out of a high density altitude, I would watch the baggage, and I wouldn't put 100 pounds in there. I'd keep it, to 30 pounds baggage, and I'd keep the gas at half.
Oh, okay.
20 gallons of gas,
And
basically.
in a training environment,
It doesn't matter.
It's Florida, California, sea level, coast.
it
You just
doesn't
fill them
matter.
up low.
Doesn't matter. But it will do high density altitudes if you're not careless. If you're a careless pilot, don't take this into.
Well, it's just like any small trainer. You don't want to abuse the performance at altitude.
Positively. Yeah.
So, Jim, now we're in it. Give us a little bit of a look around and show us some of the things that the flight instructors that helped design it would have kind of pointed out and wanted in it, and what some of the radios are.
Well, the first thing that they wanted to do was make this visibility. Look at all this glass around here. You can see so well from the inside. The next thing they wanted to do was have the fuel selector where it wouldn't be overlooked, right in a student's eyeballs. It's right down here. It's right.
And it's just left and right.
Yeah, left and right. It's right in front of you. So you
And
can shut it off, but you'd have to move this detent and shut it off. Nobody ever does that.
And it's pointing at the fuel gauge.
It's pointing right at the fuel gauge that you're using. Yes.
In a 150, it's down under the seat in the front. And I remember my flying instructor used to reach down very surreptitiously and turn it off to see what would happen when you had an engine failure.
Yeah, hard to do that on this one.
And a guy who I know, he knew that was going to happen. So when it quit, he's at altitude and it's all safe. When it quit, and he was asked what he was going to do, he said, turn the fuel back on, and he turned it back on. He knew.
Yeah.
But you've got this very well equipped. I mean, it's like IFR.
Yeah, for basic IFR, like I say, I don't do hard IFR. I just go in and out of the marine layer over on the coast, and it's well equipped for that. It's got no de-ice except for the pitot tube. It's got pitot heat.
You shouldn't be up there if you're icing.
No, you shouldn't.
and why the G meter?
Oh, the G meter was something a friend of mine just gave me, and he said, it works. Do you want it? I said, I had an empty hole here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So just put it in.
What do you see on there? Half a G?
Well, we're sitting here. We're 1G right now when we're sitting here. But I've seen it go up to 3 when we hit bumps and turbulence. But normally it doesn't go over 2.
Oh, okay. And it's a nice conventional TIFR panel in it.
Yeah.
For a good trainer. I mean, somebody could buy this, learn in it, and IFR in it.
You could, yeah.
The whole thing.
You could do that. Do that. Yeah, because now I think the approaches, you only have to do one type of an approach. This wouldn't have done for me when I got my instrument rating, because you had to have an ADF. You had to do NDB approaches and all that. They've done away with that. And actually, they're going to start doing away with the VORs in a few years. So then you'd have to get if you wanted to do some real IFR stuff, you'd have to put an IFR GPS in.
Yeah. Is it still now where if it's in it, you got to use it?
It's got to be workable if it's in. Yeah. Or you got to placard it in op.
Right.
So everything in here works. I can't think of anything.
So brakes on both sides.
Yeah.
There's the
toe
flap
brakes
lever
on both sides. This is a flap. I'm going to pull the flap there so nobody's standing on the flap.
That's takeoff?
Yeah. Well, you can use it for takeoff, but I take off without flaps.
Oh, okay.
Like on a hot day, if I want to get off more, one notch of flaps and 5 miles an hour slower. But final, it's just got 2 notches. I mean, 2.
Okay.
2 degrees, I think 30 degrees when it's full on.
Nice. All right. Well,
It's a very simple little airplane.
With you in charge, I'll get in the other seat and we'll take it around the pattern.
Sounds good. Clear. That felt so much better.
Yeah, I'm not good at anything above 80 because I'm British.
I should be British because I can't stand the heat.
Yeah.
It just makes me wilt.
There's so much more you can do when it's cool. So, carbureted 4-cylinder 0235, there's no trick to starting it, right?
No, in the morning, the first start of the day, you prime it, 2 primes, leave it out on the third one, and as you're turning the starter over, push the primer in, and it'll start the first start every time by doing it that way. Once it's warmed up, you don't have to use the prime anymore the rest of the day.
Just mixture rich key.
Right, the first start of the day, use the primer.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So just talk us through things as you...
All right, brakes on. I'm going to run the RPM, mixture's rich. I'm going to run the RPM up to 15. Right mag. Both. Left. Both. I don't know why I need carb heat on a day like this, but let's test it. Carb heat. Engine gauges. Oil temperature, oil pressure, fuel gauge, and the ASB. Sure that light's not on. Shows it's working. Suction's over here is good. Okay, throttle back. Now I go to the checklist. Fuel on proper tank. Gas tank's to left. Fuel's left switch here, easy to see. Mixture set. We're at 5,000 density altitude, so I'm just gonna out a little bit. Set, boost pump on, carburetor heat's off, engine gauges we checked, seats back,
Yep.
doors latched,
Yep.
belts on,
Yes.
flap set, trim set, controls free, the right direction, always want to make sure they're going in the right direction.
Very true.
Okay. We're good to go. Let's see. Let's listen to the ATIS.
More than 10. Sky condition clear below 12,000. Temperature 32 Celsius. 2.3 Celsius. Altimeter 3015. Remarks. Density altitude 4,800.
Almost 500. Almost 5,000.
32 Celsius, which is 100.
Placerville Airport. Automated weather observation 1.
Okay. SB here. Check for traffic. Don't see any traffic there. Looking out there. And I'm just going to do a little clearing turn. Okay, nobody landing in the other direction, and looks like the runway's ours. Placerville traffic, Tomahawk 2516 Charlie, departing runway 23, staying in the pattern. And it's hot and uphill, so I'm going to take all of the runway.
Good idea.
Should take about 2,800 feet to get off.
There we are doing 40.
Okay, checking the airspeed. Airspeed's alive. Check everything else, and we're ready to fly. There's 60. Rotate. Let it accelerate. I'm out at 70. Well, that's about how it performs. Pretty close to growth at a density, pretty close to 5,000.
That's nice.
Yeah, still doing pretty good. Placerville traffic, Tomahawk 2516 Charlie, turning left crosswind for 23 Placerville.
It's very smooth, isn't it?
Smooth running little airplane,
Yeah, I mean, 4-cylinder like Cummings are not notoriously smooth, but this one is.
One of the smoothest engines I ever flew was a 172 with the old 6-cylinder Continental in it. That was really a smooth airplane.
A Hawk XP.
That's the 180 horsepower. No, I'm talking about the old 140 horsepower.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yes.
Placerville, traffic, Tomahawk 2516 Charlie, turning left downwind for 23 Placerville. See if we make it up to pattern altitude by mid downwind here.
It doesn't feel underpowered at all. I mean, I learned in a 150, that was fairly underpowered. It was 96 horsepower.
I like these a little better than the 150.
The visibility is amazing in it.
You can see really good all around.
And then people say you can't see down in a low wing plane. I mean,
you can see down. You can see in front of this wing here.
Yeah, very easy.
Woodwood, 176 Charlie, 3 miles west.
A little bit quieter on that.
Field, into the left downwind for runway 20. And Woodwood traffic 6303 kilos, about 8 miles to the southeast of the field, inbound for full stop landing. We'll be entering left downwind behind that traffic for runway 18.
So we've got in one stage of flaps.
Placerville traffic, Tomahawk 2516 Charlie, turning left base, 23 Placerville. Fly out of Auburn, so I'm tempted to say 25.
That's what I do when I go to Auburn. I'm all 2-3. Yeah.
Placerville traffic, Tomahawk 2516 Charlie, turning final, 23 Placerville. Nobody on a straight in, looks good there, huh?
All clear final.
Clear to the left. Like a little carrier landing here.
It is. 3,800 feet. It looks shorter because it's uphill as well.
It looks shorter, it does.
And now we've got full flaps.
Full flaps on final.
And 70.
I got 70 in it, but I'm going to get it down to 65. Short final. We're 65 now.
176 Charlie, overhead the field, 1,500 feet, and make a turn into a left, downwind runway 18.
Give a little power in, just makes it a little smoother on the... Now if I pulled it all the way back like this, it dragged the tail. I got it way back now like a tail dragger, but I don't want to go any more than that or I'll drag the tail.
And that elevator that everybody thinks isn't effective.
Yeah, look how effective it is.
Very effective.
Yeah, I'm 30, 25,
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. That was great.
Little nose wheel wobble there. Not much.
Air conditioner on?
Yeah, air conditioner on.
Oh, yeah. Damn, 32 is 100, right? Roughly. High 90s at least.
Yes.
And people are probably noticing in the background these helicopters littered around the place. Those are all on fire standby. Touch wood, we haven't had a fire yet.
No, about the year I bought this plane, we had a fire where I live, and the fire burned our back fence down. It was the 49er fire.
Oh, yeah.
Whole neighborhood went up, but our house was left standing. Houses on both sides of us went up.
Wow. Concrete house?
No, just lucky, I guess.
Wow. Well, there we are. Shut it down. Perfect, Jim.
All right. Shut down. I put the RPM up a little bit to keep the plugs clean.
Jim, well, thanks for bringing the Tomahawk down and flying us around it. That's great. The last thing in conclusion I'd ask you is, what are the things of the myths of the Tomahawk that you would dispel by being an owner of one and being a first-hand experiencer of one?
Well, having owned this for 13 years and flight instructed during that time in other Tomahawks and this one, it's a very decent, safe airplane if flown correctly. I would say that the longer, the more and more information that comes out, people are going to be less and less afraid of a Tomahawk.
And no need to call them the Tomahawk.
The Tomahawk. I think it's losing the Tomahawk name and it's losing the Scarehawk name.
Good, good. Well, thanks very much. So this is Mark at Skywagon University with Jim Parrish with his Tomahawk. subscribe down here on the little subscribe thingy, and if you want notifications, click on the bell. That was perfect. That was a text, that ding.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you text. You get a ding when a new video comes out, and we're going to be doing a lot more of these. So thanks for watching, and Jim, thank you.
My pleasure.
Can you believe